This is going to be iconic. It's going to be history.
This campaign has the ability to transform women's sailing in Australia.
Amazing performance by the Australians.
It's a really unique opportunity for Australia to finally be able to fly our flag.
We've got the skills, the ambition, the resources and the talent to win for Australia in the Barcelona 2024 Women's America's Cup.
We're building more than a campaign here, we're building a legacy.
This dream can really only be realised with the whole country's support.
So come on this journey with us. We really do believe we can win this, and we're really excited to share this opportunity with you. Now is the time.
Yeah, how good the dream is becoming a reality this year in October, when history will be made for the very first time, when women will compete for their own America's Cup trophy. And co-skipper for Team Australia Challenge, Olivia Price, joins us. Hello and welcome. How brilliant. Such history with the America's Cup, and now to be slap bang in the middle of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now is the time, I guess, to be part of the America's Cup. It is the first time that women will have the opportunity to compete in our own America's Cup, and Australia has one of those tickets. You know, we had to fight quite hard to really make sure that we were one of the 12 nations that are competing, because we are competing under the Australian flag. We have incredible sailors around the world, but you see them on every other country. Like, you don't see them racing for Australia, and you know, we do have such deep roots in sailing. It's basically in our DNA. So for us, it's a super exciting time.
And it's such, I don't know, the holy grail, I guess, this event, isn't it, for sailors? I mean, and for Australia itself, in 1983, when the America's Cup was won, 1983, when you would have been, what, not born?
No. I was not.
But still, it is that, it means so much, doesn't it?
Oh, and, you know, even watching the video over and over, I watch it all the time, it does give me goosebumps still, to think that this is actually going to happen in, you know, what is maybe 100 days from now. We'll be competing for our own trophy in what is the pinnacle of our sport, the America's Cup, where development and technology and innovation really is pioneering, and it does lead us into a whole different era of sailing. It's like sailing, but not like you've seen it before. You know, we are foiling, we're up above the water, flying the same hydrodynamics and aerodynamics, you know, that happen with planes and create lift. And so for us, it's just super exciting.
This is the monohull foil we're talking about right now.
Yeah, it really is cool.
It is.
Olivia, women's sport is getting so big in this country. You've got the Olympics coming up, and then, of course, the America's Cup. How exciting is it for you to be able to put sailing on the map for women in this country?
It's really exciting, to be honest, you know, and if you can't already tell, I can't wait to be there. You know, there is a little bit of training to do in between here and there, but, you know, we've seen the Matildas effect, and we really think that sailing has that kind of momentum behind it, especially women's sailing for Australia. You know, we were basically founded by sailors, so, you know, sailing is our, you know, the Olympics is our time to shine normally. You know, we have very successful Olympic teams, and now with the America's Cup in the same year, it's basically unheard of for us to be able to participate in two pinnacle events within 2.5 months of each other. You know, it's really going to be an incredible opportunity.
Olivia, what's the crew size, and how does your boat compare to the ones that the men sail?
So we sail a slightly smaller boat. It's a 40-foot foiling monohull, and you know, there's a whole lot of different technical words and things I could use, but basically there's 4 of us on the boat, and we're not changing sides every time we change direction. So we're actually locked into a pod, and so that's really different for us as sailors. We're normally changing our ballast, going from side to side, but at the moment, you know, the technology allows us to basically sit in the same pod and press a whole lot of buttons to try and fly us in the sky.
You're
so
practicing in a simulator. I don't know if we've got vision of that, because that just shows, so this is where you are at the moment.
This is how we're training. So we're going sailing without a boat. You know, you can see.
Is the boat
still
built?
capsized.
Is your boat
Just
ready?
reset.
So our boat, we're not actually purchasing one as an Australian team. They're provided by America's Cup. So that's how this is becoming quite a reality for us. The budget is so much less than what would be a greater America's Cup team of $200 billion. You know, the budget for us is $1 million hours, and that's, the most that we would be looking for. This simulator has given us the tools to be able to understand how the boat's going to respond. You can see that we capsized it here and there, and that does happen.
So how long before you actually sail in the America's Cup will you be in a boat?
Yeah, it's going to be about learning fast. 4 days. 4 days is the response to try and learn how to, I guess, wrestle this beast. So we are trying to find resources to be able to get on one earlier. The first of the boats really only came around 2 years ago. What happens in the America's Cup is that there's 6 America's Cup teams. So, we've got the Americans, the British, the French. They all have to put an entry into the women's and the youth America's Cup in these smaller boats. So they all have these boats, but we're part of the 6 teams that don't have a greater parent team. So that means that we get our boats provided by those 6 teams. They'll be categorised as one design and all the same. And basically they're holding on to those boats until they're done with them, and then we'll get a chance to get going.
Talk to me about the Olympics. You last went to the Olympics in 2012. You retired. Now you've come out of retirement, and your partner's Evie. Tell me about your special relationship with her.
Yeah, I did think I was done with Olympic sailing, but, fate had it, and COVID came round, and, you look at different opportunities. But Evie is 20, and she's a young, very enthusiastic and dedicated sailor. I've actually known her since she was born. Like, our families are friends, and our dads sailed together. So she approached me during COVID, basically to try and mentor her. I'd retired. I was, doing my own thing. Sparked a little bit of interest, and she really is one of the most dedicated people I've ever come across. And for me, that was like, wow, okay. I called her and said, okay, we probably need to go sailing. We went on the boat, and I was like, whew, this is natural. Okay, you don't always get that with people. But my gosh, as soon as we got off the boat, I called her again. And when I went home, I said, we've got to keep doing this. And 3 weeks later, I quit my job, and she, basically...
Right.
Unpacked her life, and we got going, and we did our first real training session with 1,000 days to go to the Games.
Wow. So
what's the process now then for getting to the Olympics? What's your program?
So we've qualified. We've qualified and been selected for the Games. So we'll be representing Australia in the 49er FX, the women's skiff. So we are actually heading off to Marseille tomorrow to do some venue sailing. We deal with the wind and the water, and it really is a place-specific sport. So the more time we spend in Marseille, the more we get to understand the trends and what's going on, and try and figure it all out. So heading there, and I'll be back and forth a couple of times before, the 28th of July is our first race day.
Well, look, all the best with it. Wow. It's so good for you to drop in. I'd love to say the sentence tomorrow, I'm heading to Marseille. All the best, I'm sure you will go well. Coming up, our champ of the week. Stick around.